And good morning. You're waking up to the vibe. In case you didn't know. Good morning, Bob, Michelle, Sherry. Sherry, I have to ask you a question. How do you get into this room before me? Every show. You beat me to it every show. I click that button and boom, there you are. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Julie. Welcome to the program. Jimmy's in the house. Jimmy Orpello. Good morning. It's good to see you here this morning. We have a fun show. Good morning, my good friend Diane Solicito Campos. How are you? It's good to see you here. I am excited, as I always am. But yeah, today we're going to have some fun. And I'm going to get right into it because I have a couple of guys hanging out in the waiting room just waiting for me. So, but before I go there, I just want to thank everybody for watching the show. I want to thank Corey Poirier from Prince Edward, Canada, for joining me on the show on Wednesday. What a fantastic show that was. And for Jenny Lee Toner for joining me on Monday. And if you have a pet, a dog, a cat, it doesn't matter, but you're going to want to tune in to Monday's show. I'll tell you more about that later, but pet lovers beware. Do you really love your pet? We're going to talk about that on Monday. My friend Marcy's going to be on the show on Monday, so make sure you stick around. She's a veterinarian out of Connecticut, and we're going to have some fun there. So today, let me tell you, hold on, let's do this. I'm going to do this. Let's do this, this, and this. Let's get Jason in here. I see he's fixing his hair. And waking up to the vibe with us nice and early this morning. Look at these good-looking guys. They're ready to rock and roll. I'll give you a real quick introduction here to promote the album Looking Glass. Jason Adamo and Doug Casteen, songwriters, performers, sound engineers. What else? We do it all. We play guitar. We write songs. We put gold records up on the wall. That's what we do here. Welcome to the program, guys. Good to have you back.
Good morning.
Yeah, great to be back, man. Thanks for having us back.
I have to tell you, I'm super excited for a couple of reasons here. One, the return of Jason and Doug is pretty epic. But I'm really, Jason, I'm really missing the birds in the background.
I can go outside if you want.
It's too hot.
No. And Doug, if you will, can you just show, yeah, there you go. Oh, beautiful. Doug, can you just show our viewing audience that beautiful coffee cup? Like this guy, you're like a turbo coffee drink. You're like a coffee drinker on steroids. No, where's that thing you just showed me a
French
minute
press.
ago?
Oh, it's my French press in case I need a refill.
Where'd you get that? Doug, where'd you get
that? Amazon.
But show that again. Let me see that again. Let me see that French press.
Lisa and I got that for you, dude. Right?
Oh, you did?
Well, we got you one.
No, you got me a different one. It was the Italian one.
That you got me. What's the difference between that one and the Italian one?
I'm going to show my ignorance, but it's that it makes, it's more like a espresso that it makes. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's awesome though.
So will you drink all that coffee like by 8 o'clock?
No. No, I will. My son will wake up and he'll drink the rest of it. But
there you go. Yeah. We're sharing it.
I got to say, this mug. My sister made this for me. It says a scream. A yawn is a silent scream for coffee.
Oh, there you go. I like that. She hand painted that, huh?
Yeah. She's an artist.
Nice. Well, listen, it's good to have you guys back. I know you've both been busy. I mean, thanks to Facebook, we can keep up on each other, right? And you guys have managed to get out there and put on a couple performances. But I did watch one that it was super cool, and I think it might have even been a rehearsal in somebody's backyard, or was that a gig? Was that a gig or was that a rehearsal?
In our buddy Taylor King's backyard. He was kind enough to let us rehearse in his backyard because we had nowhere. I didn't want to rehearse inside. I wanted to rehearse outside for a live stream that we were doing at Emerge, which is a music venue here in Raleigh.
Yes, I watched it. Very good.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, man. That was a lot of fun with the full band, but we just, it's been so long since Doug and I had even played a show, let alone the whole band. So we were like, we need to rehearse, especially a couple of these new songs off of Looking Glass. So our buddy Taylor came in in the clutch and let us rehearse in his backyard. Even knocked back a few beers. It was a good time. We live streamed it.
Yes.
Fun.
You know, cold beer is a good match with a good rehearsal.
It's solid.
It's pretty solid, right?
Also warm Jameson as well.
And warm Jameson.
Room temperature Jameson.
Sometime when we're off the air, I'll share my Jameson story with you.
Okay.
I almost want to share it right now, but I might lose the limited viewers that I already have. But I'm going to remember to tell it to you someday, because it's a pretty classic story. I will just to give you a synopsis of it. My son gave me a bottle of Jameson for my birthday. So I said, it's like 4 PM. He says, well, we might as well have one now, right? So we had a little cocktail together, and then another and another. And then we went out to see a few bands that night. And then the part I'm going to leave people in suspense, and I'm going to tell you guys later. What happened when we got home?
Oh, boy.
All I'm going to say is the police were called, and I'm leaving it at that.
Nice.
Oh, that's better than our Jameson stories.
Luckily, ours have never involved the police yet. But
yeah.
Not yet. Yeah, you're still young. You still have time. Put it on your bucket list. Have you ever been arrested, either of you?
No, not yet.
Not for this show. No.
Not for this show. No, absolutely not.
Actually, I bragged to my parents about that when they were still alive, that I'd never been arrested, so they should be pretty proud.
That's funny.
They never had to bail me out of jail.
Unfortunately, it's pretty boring. It's just a bunch of speeding tickets for me.
They're still in your glove box. You gotta love when, like, one of your opening questions on a radio show is, so have you guys ever been arrested?
What if we had said yes? That would make for a much more interesting show.
It would have been the whole show, because I'd want to hear the entire story. Okay. Oh my gosh. So we're gonna promote your album today, your CD, which is called Looking Glass. I've been playing it. I've been listening to it. Absolutely love it. Can you show us a picture of the CD cover so people know what they're buying when they...
Oh, wait.
There you go. Right, that is the cover of the CD. This is the new way of promoting the album. I love it.
This is the only thing I had that was clean.
And your guest last Friday drew that.
Well, yeah. I was going to say that. Yes, yeah. George Hodge from Jack the Radio.
Mm-hmm.
It did a lot of amazing album covers. Wow. And fantastic job. So that is the artwork of the CD, folks, when you go out and you buy this thing.
Yep, you can go to jasonadamo.com, get one of these.
jasonadamo.com.
The most comfortable shirt I've ever put out there for the band, by far.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And it's the only clean one you have.
I agree. It is comfortable.
That was a fib. It is not the only clean one I had, but this is how I promote stuff.
I love it. Oh, I think that you're a model, because you're not just a songwriter and performer. You're a model.
There you go. I do it all, folks.
It's pretty interesting, because the last time I had you on the show, you didn't have hair and I didn't have a beard. And Doug still has his coffee. It's still the same cup.
Same cup. Yeah, I have one cup of coffee.
Doug, you need to do a Coffee Quest picture.
I will.
Well, I forgot who it was. And I want to tell our listening audience, because many of them have commented and they ask me all the time. They go, Joe, where do you find these amazing musicians? And a good portion of Pat McGee, Matt O'Ree, Matt Santry, George Hodge, and I'm probably forgetting a few in there, but they came from Keaton. Your referrals. Keaton Simon.
You got one in the works for Gareth Asher, right?
Yeah. So, man, what a screw up on my part. I interviewed Gareth, and at the end of the fantastic interview, great guy, great songwriter.
Yeah, he's awesome.
At the end of the interview, I had the button clicked audio only. So I have no video.
Yeah.
So I was going to play the interview and, have a picture of him up there. And then I called him up and I said, man, I screwed up. I forgot to record the video. I accidentally didn't hit the button. And we decided we're just going to do it over.
Well, it's officially a podcast now.
It is a podcast, but I didn't want anybody to know who he was until I told them.
Yeah, well, Gareth is awesome, man. He's a
Yeah.
great dude.
Yeah,
Amazing
super
talent.
cool guy too. It was pretty funny because in the interview, we started outside, and this one bird was chirping so bad. I'm not making this up.
That's my thing,
I
man.
said, you can't be outside with birds. That's Jason's gig. The bird was so loud, it was so disruptive. I had to ask him to go inside, so he went inside with the camera, and it was like the interview. We were like taking a tour of his house. It was pretty cool. It was funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a couple of things here. We're gonna play a song called "New Beginning" off of the album "Looking Glass," because I want to make sure that our viewing audience, gets a nice dose of music. But then I've got a ton of questions I want to ask you, and then we have a ton of questions we're going to ask the listening audience because I want to get some of their answers to these questions. And what I'm really doing is I'm framing and setting up the weekend. So I'm going to get our viewing audience, yourselves, myself. We're going to get so fired up for this weekend, regardless of what anybody has going on. I want to make sure they go into it with good music and with good thoughts and a good mindset. Okay. So why don't we do this? Let's play this song, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk, but I'm anxious myself to hear this song. It's New Beginning. It's off the CD Looking Glass.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this song, if you will, and kind of set it up.
Real quick setup is the producer Mark McKee, who we talked about in the last Wake Up to the Vibe with you. He's a really good friend of ours for 10 years plus now, and he produced the last 2 records. This was the first time Mark and I got together as songwriters to collaborate. This was the second song we wrote together in a songwriting session the day before we hit the studio, actually. So I had some song ideas brought to the table, but he kind of helped put them together and polish them up before we went to the studio to start cutting them. The other one was Take Care of You, which was the single, and this was the second song Mark McKee and I wrote together called New Beginning, which started off by Doug's guitar riff, which I love so much.
Yeah. And I noticed, Doug, man, I know you definitely play your guitar because the neck of your guitar looks like it's like worn right out. It's like there's absolutely no finish on it. The frets are filed down. I'm looking at this. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely played that thing. So, but now I got to ask you, because I'm listening to the words to the song. Is this the song is kind of, I'm playing 2 songs of yours today that are really fitting for today's time. New beginnings. Like, we could look at this, what's going on in the world. I mean, it's just a hot mess, but we could look at it like some people think it's the end. It's not the end, man. Right. I actually look at it as like it's a new beginning. It's a chance to just figure all this stuff out and change our messaging and change our policies and change the way we do things, at least for us anyway. I don't know if all the politicians will agree with that. But there is a new beginning here if we look at it that way. Yeah,
definitely. The song, obviously we wrote this way before we knew COVID-19 was coming. This is actually about my journey to meet Lisa, my wife. And as we talked previously, I was previously married and went through a lot of other stuff to get to where I was, to the point where I met Lisa. So when I met Lisa, it was like, boom, like the lyric says, a time bomb was ticking. Met her and everything exploded, and now married with a beautiful little almost 2-year-old daughter. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, good.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Well, Doug, I know you were quoted as saying this CD is Jason's love letter to his family.
Yeah, it is.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. It feels every album that we do, it really comes from what's going on in our lives at that time. Like we've talked about the first record was all about divorce and everything, and how us coping with that. Mm-hmm. And then and that's what this record is about. I mean, it's what Jason's been going through, and as Jason's friend, I just am thrilled to be able to help get that out for people to hear.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And support that.
Yeah, and you're killing it on the guitar on this song too, man.
Thank you.
Let's go play the song. We'll come right back. You're waking up to the vibe. I've got Jason Adamo, Doug Casteen here on the show, and this is called New Beginning on their album.
Got a story about this guitar part after the song.
Okay, good. We'll get right to it. Here we go. I love it. Hold on. What happened here? Hold on. What's going on? Here we go. You can't make this stuff up. Hold on a second. You can't make this up. You're waking up to the vibe. It doesn't get any more live than this. Hold on. And I know I clicked that button. I got to reboot this thing. Hold on.
That's the magic of doing things live, man.
What's that? What happened here? I clicked the thing, you know.
You can't make this stuff up.
Oh, wait. Now it's going.
You can't make this up.
It's a typical Jason
You know,
show.
seriously, I've been like
Not my
smooth
fault.
sailing, right?
Not my
It's
fault
your
this time.
fault, man.
Wait a
Hold on.
minute.
We're going to try
Hold
this
on.
again. That was really weird. I hope it doesn't
will help.
happen again. New beginning, boot audio. We're going to try
I'm
this
gonna do
again.
my Coffee Quest picture while we're doing this.
Yeah. All right, hold on. All right, there you go. Go ahead. This is that's your Coffee Quest shot. All right. One more time. This is new beginning. We're gonna go to the beginning, and hopefully we have audio this time.
I can feel this dark night sinking.
How's it? Is there any audio out there? You got it.
Yep.
Memory, dreaming of a hot sun shining off a lonely river winding round the corner from the place where I used to live. Now it's like a new beginning, feeling like a whole world spinning, and I know that I will never be the same. It was like a time long ticking, changed it all in just 1 minute. I was making my way to you, into a new beginning, into a new beginning. I remember always being the kid you would find daydreaming, still learning how to live a certain way. And now with every new day rising, this life has fun with finding two lost souls just looking to be found. Now it's like a new beginning, feeling like a whole world spinning, and I know that I will never be the same. It was like a time bomb ticking, changed it all in just 1 minute. I was making my way to you, into so funny with finding you just when you were looking to be found. Now it's like a new beginning, feeling like the whole world is spinning, and I know that I will never be the same. It was like a time bomb ticking, changed it all in just 1 minute. I was thinking of waiting into a new beginning, into a new beginning, into a new beginning, into a new beginning.
And you're waking up to the vibe. It's a new beginning off the CD Looking Glass. And Jason Adamo and Doug Casteen here on the show with me. Man, that's got some great rhythm to it. I'm loving it. Wakes you right up.
Thanks,
Good
man.
job.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, the
Now,
story
Doug,
about that guitar part.
Go ahead. I was going to ask, Doug was saying something earlier about the production because you guys had to put that together because the CD came out when COVID hit, right?
Right. Go ahead, Doug.
Oh yeah. Well, the editing. My son edited that video. He's been doing a lot of quarantine videos for people. He's a film student at UNC now, over at UNCG, and so it's cool because it gives he and I a chance to work on things together. But if you need any COVID videos edited, I got your guy. He works cheap.
I like what he did with the cloning part where he had Jason playing guitar for Jason.
That was really cool. Yeah.
It's kind of freaky, isn't it?
He's super talented. He actually edited the Middle of a Dream video too.
Which is the song we're playing next. And I have to tell you, so Doug, your son did the production on the video on Middle of a Dream.
Mm-hmm.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm going to be honest with you. I actually, the first time I watched it, I cried. It just, isn't it amazing how a visual can change a song or bring it to life? It doesn't change the song. It just brings it to life. You know what I mean?
Definitely. He did a great job at that too.
He really did. You know what? Let's go right into that. I'm kind of feeling it, and this is all freestyle. So middle of a dream. Okay, tell me about the song, and our viewers are going to love this because you wrote this a while ago. This wasn't written during COVID and protesting, right?
No, the Black Lives Matter movement was very much alive when I wrote it, and it was a couple years ago on Martin Luther King Day. And I have enormous respect for Martin Luther King and who he was and what he did. And I wanted to try to write something about him and kind of just stream of consciousness, kind of wrote this song about him. And then when we put it out, shortly thereafter, George Floyd was murdered and all these protests started happening. And that's when I asked Ben to put together this video for it to kind of mesh together news archival footage of the protests in the 60s up until now. So it's basically looking for hope around us in a very crazy world that we live in. And based on people are, coming together, just like Martin Luther King brought people together to protest peacefully back in the 60s. People are doing that all over again, and it's kind of a fitting song for the moments we're living in right now.
Yeah, well said, and a great setup. I'm going to play, normally we'll talk a lot more between songs, but let's play this song because it really has so much meaning. And then we're going to come back and we're going to start rifling off some questions and getting to know you guys a little bit better, but we're also going to get to know our audience a little bit better, and I'll explain that after. This is Middle of a Dream. Cool. And I'm going to, what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to play it so they can hear it.
Hey, sure. Whatever works.
What a concept.
It's kind of what we do, man.
Here we go. This is called Middle of a Dream. Jason Adamo Band.
Listen to the wind passing through the trees. You will hear voices sing of those who've gone before us. Now it's up to us to heed their call. It's up to us to fix it all. There's something wrong with the world today. Said there's something wrong with the world today. But there is a hope that can be found if you take a look around you now. By some awfully large shoes to fill, by great men struck down in the middle of the tree. Tell me now, what does it all mean? What does it all mean? There needs to be a change today. The way we treat one another, we are not enemies. We are sisters and we are brothers, all playing for the same team, living for the same dream. Something wrong with the world today. There's so many things wrong with the world today, but there is a hope that can be found if you take a look around you now. By some awfully large shoes to fill, by great men struck down in the middle of a tree. Tell me now, what does it all mean? What does it all mean? Is there any justice in the world? Injustice in the world? What does it all mean? Injustice in the world. There is a hope that can't be found if you take a look around you now. By some awfully large shoes to fill, a great man struck down in the middle of a dream. Tell me now, what does it all mean? What does it all mean? And is there any justice in the world? What does it all mean? And is there any justice in the world? Injustice in the world? Injustice in the world? What does it all mean? Is there any justice in the world?
You're waking up to the vibe, middle of a dream. And that is Jason Adamo and Doug Casteen on the show with me today. Loving it, man. Loving it. That is just awesome stuff, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
You guys are so good at what you do. You're so good at it, man.
Appreciate that a lot, man. Ben's
That
really
video
good at
is
what he
pretty
does.
moving.
Yeah, I mean that's footage chosen by Ben Casteen. That's it was really moving to see that again. I haven't seen it since we put it out.
Yeah, kudos to Ben. You said he's in college for film, Doug?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job, man. Good job there. So this is the part where I'm going to just start ripping off some questions. And this is weird. Like years ago, I used to disc jockey weddings for like 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of the business. And to this day, this is really weird. I don't know if this happens to you guys. I still have this weird dream that I'm late for the wedding, or I don't have the bride and groom's first song, or oh my gosh, I don't have speakers for the gig. And last night I had this dream that I was late for a gig because I was looking for speakers and I was calling all my friends. I'm like, I don't have speakers to do this gig. does that happen to you? I woke up this morning. I go, I wonder if that happens to Jason and Doug.
Oh my God!
Oh,
I
I've
just had
definitely
a
had
terrible dream the other night. Go ahead, Doug.
Oh no, I want to hear your terrible dream, but I've definitely had dreams like that. Yeah, where and nothing goes right. You can't find anything, and and there's floods coming and all kinds of disasters.
Well,
it's crazy.
Doug knows me very well when it comes to playing a gig, and when I'm not playing a gig, I'm trying to be super chill. But before a gig, sometimes I get very anxious and very it just I want everything to go as perfectly as possible, and sometimes that anxiety comes into my dreams. Like the other night, in my dream we were playing this big show, and nothing was going right. Like none of the songs were working. My guitar stopped working, and all this stuff. So it's definitely stress. That's the stress of my life, is playing the shows. Definitely.
It's crazy how that works.
Well, I got to tell you a quick story too. We were playing at the Viper Room in LA, and they have a curtain, and literally 5 seconds before the curtain goes up, Jason and Fabio are screaming at each other because something wasn't going right. And the curtain goes up, and boom, the stage face comes on. But literally,
Fabio and I had a lot of those instances. I love him to death, but
it's one of my favorite memories.
We would butt heads a lot. He was our harmonica player who was from Italy and moved back to Italy a few years ago.
Oh, of course he's from Italy. His name's Fabio.
He's a great guy.
You ever get tired? And for our listening audience, pay attention to this question, our listening audience, when you go out and you see a band live. You guys ever get anybody yelling Freebird?
I usually play Werewolves of London when they do that.
Right. I mean,
it's the same chords.
I always say this next song is called "Stairway to Freebird," and then we don't play that song.
Why? It's the strangest thing. It's the strangest thing. So
my joke was like, I think that Saturday Night Live should come up with a sketch about the first guy who yelled "Freebird" at a concert. And what a momentous occasion that was, and how it caught on like wildfire. And now it's to this day, everybody. One guy in the audience is like, this next song, I want to yell out "Freebird." Watch, this is gonna be
it needs to be Will Ferrell too.
No, seriously, how hilarious would that be? I could never quite understand it. I mean, to this day, people do it, and it's the strangest thing.
It's a good song.
It's a great song.
We just don't know
I want to ask you this, Doug, because I'm gonna tell a quick story afterwards. Have you ever showed up at a gig and forgot something that you really needed to perform, so you had to create a hack?
I can answer that.
Yeah, you forget your pedal board. Definitely done that. Which actually sometimes it's good because you rely on all those things that make your guitar sound cool, right? And then they come sort of like a crutch. So the times I've showed up without my pedal board, in a way, it's been sort of a mixed blessing, because then I was like, oh, I have to really play now. You have to play differently. So that's definitely happened. I don't know. I played with drummers who forgot their cymbals before.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of odd, right?
Yeah, he'd had to play the whole set with the tambourine taped to his hi-hat, but he pulled it off. People were just going, "You guys sound great, but it just doesn't sound quite right." I can't figure it out. It was so funny. Yeah, and he was one of the best drummers in Baltimore too. I mean, literally, and he forgot his stuff, but he made it work.
I want to share this with you quick. I was doing a show. It's called Proctor's Theater back home, and it's maybe a 2,200 seat place, and it was it's like our first time and my only time playing a stage of that magnitude. It's a gorgeous theater, and I was a single dad, and my son at the time, he was like 8 years old, and I go, "Come on, Dominic, I got to get to this gig. I can't be late." I'm bringing my son with me, and he's like, "Hold on, Dad." And he's up in his bedroom, and I'm yelling at him. I'm like, "Come on, I'm going to be late. You're going to make me late. Get that. Dad, hold on. I'm looking for my book bag. You don't need a book bag. Come on." And now at this point, I'm like, "Get in the car." I'm like flipping out. I'm going to be late for like the most important gig of my life. And we get there, we get all set up. They got the house sound guy, the house light guy, and the stage manager, the whole 9 yards. And I'm nervous. I'm so nervous it's not funny. So when it comes time to play, I go to grab a guitar pick and I don't have one. And so I said to the other guitar player, I'm like, dude, you got an extra pick? He's like, no. I'm like, you only have one pick? Well, I have none. You know? So I'm like, oh my gosh, man. Like, what am I going to do? I don't have a pick. I got to have a pick for this. Right? My son goes, Dad, hold on. And he empties out his book bag on the stage. And he's got about 20 picks in the book bag. Right here, I'm yelling at him for going looking for his book bag. So now I'm like sweating like crazy. Like literally when I play, I just pour sweat. My son comes over. He's got a rag. Oh, he got a dish towel because he knows how I sweat. I'm like, I will never yell at that kid again. He got the book bag. He was like my roadie. He had everything I needed.
Well, that's hilarious. Well, you always bring two of everything. Jason knows I do this now. I have two of everything. I have at least two guitars. I can't even walk out of the house anytime during the day without a pick in my pocket. It's just like a security thing, right? Even though I'm not going to play guitar, right? And you always bring two of everything, two chords.
You never know when you're going to play guitar, though. A guitar can always show up.
That's right.
Isn't it the truth?
I don't know why I do it. I will not walk out of the house without a pick in my pocket.
But then he leaves all these picks on the stage everywhere we play. Like, they
don't last very long.
It's like brand new pick. He's like, nah, it's done.
Yeah. Picks are one of those things, like they show up in the washer machine. And I can never find one when I need one, but when I don't have a guitar, they're everywhere. I don't know.
Well, the guy came to work on my dryer, and he comes out after he's working out for a little bit. He comes out and he goes, and he has a handful of picks. It was literally 38 guitar picks. He came out of dryer. He's like, "Do you play guitar?"
No,
yeah,
I
very observant. I just collect picks.
No, but I'm going to start.
Do either of you have a pen and paper nearby?
I can get one.
Mm-hmm.
Grab a pen and paper real quick. And our listening audience, okay? I really, really want you to chime in on this. Now, I'm asking you guys to chime in your answers into the chat room, okay? Because I'm curious to see, this is something I was reading the other day, and how a color can represent something and somebody, and how a brand can be built off of a single color. So I'm just curious if that in fact is true. So I'm going to ask Jason. Now you guys are going to be the first ones to win a Wake Up to the Vibe t-shirt, even though I'm sending them back because I'm not happy with the print job. I'm going to make sure you get one that's worthy of wearing. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask Jason a question. Doug, you're going to write down the answer. Okay? So Jason, we'll just give him a quick second to write it down.
It's like the Newlywed Show.
Yeah. You're a lovely couple. Right. So Jason, I want to just see if color can actually brand a person or a thing. Okay. Because I read this article, The Psychological Effects of Color, and I want to see if it's true. So Doug, get ready to write down, and Jason, we're only going to give him 3 seconds. But when I say the color purple, Jason, you're going to tell me the first musician that comes to mind, and Doug, you're going to write it down. And I want to see if you guys get the same answer.
I mean, that's an easy one, Joe.
Well, let's see. Because I want my listening audience to chime in on this as well. I want them to type the answer, and there's like a 1 minute latency before they even hear what we're saying. So I want to give them a chance to get it right. So Doug, what's the color? Or Jason, give us the answer.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, Prince.
Doug, what'd you write down?
Oprah.
No.
But that was before you said musician.
No, did you seriously write down Oprah?
Well, I didn't write it down, but that's the first thing I thought of. All
right, so you didn't win on that one. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I think everybody might have said Prince, right? Doug goes,
by the way,
Oprah.
I'm colorblind too, just so you know. It'll make it interesting. Yeah.
Doug's really colorblind. There's a song called Colorblind on one of our records.
Yeah. Are you serious? Wrong question for you guys. Oh my gosh.
No, that's okay. I'm not completely colorblind, just a little bit.
Can you tell the difference between black and white?
Yes.
All right. Doug, musician, the color black.
All right.
Let's see what our viewing audience, the color black. Doug, Give me a musician that represents the color black.
I'm going to give you two answers. The first one is what I think, which is I first thought of as AC/DC, Back in Black, right? I know it's not a
Okay.
musician.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say, Jason will say Pearl Jam.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I didn't have either of those. Jason,
I didn't have either of those.
what do you have?
I have two. Ozzy.
That's what I had. Johnny
and
Cash. Isn't
Man in
that
Black.
Yeah. Interesting, right?
I don't know why I went to Ozzy, but
all right. So Doug,
Mhm.
sometimes a lyric can last a lifetime, right?
Right.
So I want to see. So far, you guys, you didn't get the first two right. You got them right with me, but I was hoping you'd get them right with each other.
we
before
We
Aren't
only
meant
met
for
10
each
years ago.
So,
we aren't meant for each other.
So this one is, all right, Doug, this one is for you. It's pretty easy, man. You're going to
I'm
nail
nervous.
this.
I'm
Ooh,
nervous.
that smell. Can't you smell that smell?
Right? Yeah, you want the band, Leonard Skinner.
There you go. All right, we got a winner on this one.
By the way, I have the Street Survivors album with the flames on it, by the way.
I have the Street Survivors album with the flames on it, signed by the entire band.
No,
Oh,
you win.
wow.
Very cool. Not to up
Do I
you
win
one
that?
on that, but I got to show it to you someday. I met them up in Glens Falls, New York.
Yeah,
and I had that out.
Yeah.
It's very cool, man, and it got water damage on it too, which is unfortunate. But
Mine doesn't. It's
all right, so let's see. This one's a tough one. Okay. So far, our viewing audience is getting it right. A lot of them, anyway. So this is the last one, and then we're gonna do something else. The number one live album in the 70s.
Oh,
This is.
you want me to write
it's-
it down?
Yeah, write it down. I want to see if we're all on the same page. Number
I have
one.
this album too, signed by the artist.
And I
Do
know
you
this.
really?
I know this
I
because
do.
of Doug, actually.
Is that all right? So, Doug, what do you have?
Frampton Comes Alive.
Jason. Love it. Winners. You guys got yourself a couple t-shirts. I love it. Here, let's give you a round of applause, too.
Thank God we got one.
Frampton Comes Alive. Still one of the greatest live albums ever
Yeah,
produced.
it's incredible.
Yeah, I
From
didn't
those
know
long
that
drives.
fact until Doug told me that, and he told me that he had it signed as well.
No kidding. Where were you when you had it signed?
Like Borders bookstore. He was doing a tour, 12 years ago or something.
How's he doing, by the way?
He stopped touring, but if you follow him on
He's-
Instagram, you can see what he's up to.
Yeah.
He's ill right now, I know.
Yeah, but I mean, he seems fine. I think it's just going to be a progressive disease with him, and he wanted to go out while he was still performing at his top.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
caught him here in Raleigh.
Our friend Eric Stewart is good friends with him.
Mhm.
Remember Eric from Nashville?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Voice of
just
Pokemon.
yesterday, I actually, with my first concert in Raleigh, when I moved here last year, it'll be a year next week. When I moved here last year, it was my first show. I saw him at the what's the name of the pavilion with the outdoors?
Walnut Creek.
Walnut Creek. It was fantastic. Oh my gosh, he was great.
Yeah.
But I watched an interview yesterday with him with Howard Stern. And I didn't realize he grew up with David Bowie. Frampton's father was David Bowie's teacher in high school.
Oh wow.
And
I didn't know that.
they grew up together. They wrote songs together, and then they hung out together. And Howard Stern asked them, what did you think when Bowie started, cross-dressing and doing all this crazy stuff? And Frampton was like, that didn't faze me. He would leave school on a Friday and come back Monday with no eyebrows. That's Bowie, you know what I mean?
But didn't Bowie actually put Frampton on his tour one time too?
Well, I know he played on a couple of his albums as well.
Yeah, I think he toured with him too.
Yeah,
That's cool. I didn't know they were friends.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that Frampton's father was Bowie's teacher. I think it was art teacher or something. I'm not positive on that, but
Wow, that's
so
crazy.
I'm going to ask some questions here that the audience, okay, and we're kind of setting up our weekend here, and I want our audience to type in their answers. I'm going to review all these answers later because I think this is some good stuff. So I'm going to start with Jason on this one here. What is the number one thing? And I want our viewing audience to type their answers in as well. What is the number one thing in your house, not a human, that you are most grateful for?
Not a human. Do we answer now?
Yeah. Well, next week I'll have you on again.
Can you type your answer in, please?
Mine's sad, but we just lost 2 dogs this year. We still have one left. We used to have 3 dogs. Now we have 1 left. Very grateful for. I mean, they're not human, so there you go. Very grateful for our fur babies.
Love it. Doug.
I have a picture of my mom in nursing school, and I just love that picture. I look at it every day. She's an amazing woman. So
Awesome. I have a glass apple on my fireplace mantle that I received the Entrepreneur of the Year award years and years ago from my friend Carol Constantino, and it was in memory of her husband, who was an entrepreneur back home. And I look at that glass apple. It goes like I've moved from house to house. I pack that glass apple like nothing else, and it always the first thing to come out of the box and go on the table or on the mantle,
Awesome.
But I see some of our folks here, thankful for the music in their house, the drums in their house. I love this stuff. All right, so this is an easy one. I'll start with you, Doug, on this one. Number one person in your life that you're most grateful for.
Well, it has to be 2. Yeah, I was gonna say Jason, but I don't want to embarrass him. Yeah.
Oh man, you guys!
I have to say my kids, my daughter Sandra and my son Benjamin.
Absolutely, Jason.
Number one person that we're grateful for.
Yes.
My wife Lisa, and then I can't put one in front of the other, but my daughter Brooklyn, and
Understood.
one in the same.
I'm there with you on both answers, right there with you both. So all right. Number one feature, Doug, in your car that you're most grateful for.
Well, it's not working right now, but the Bluetooth.
I thought you were going to say a cigarette lighter. It's not working. I'm like, your car has a cigarette lighter? I don't know.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's not working right now. I got to get it fixed, but it's great having all that hands-free stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Jason.
Well, I only recently discovered
actually the steering wheel.
The airbag. Yeah.
Very important stuff, steering wheels.
Yeah.
I recently discovered that, I think a lot of SUVs have this now, but Doug and I actually played a gig during the quarantine outside in a park in my neighborhood. And the power came from the back of my car. It has a little power outlet back of my 4Runner and powered my PA system and stuff. So that's pretty cool to know that.
I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
I'd have to say
it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Well, before I moved here, mine was the steering wheel warmer. It has a button that warms up your steering wheel. And I remember I owned the car for 2 years before I knew what that button was. And one day it was on and I'm like, man, my steering wheel's getting hot. That's kind of weird. And I looked and I saw the button on and I'm like, that's what that button is, right?
I have a button in my car. I have no idea what it does. I think it could be seat warmers, but I haven't confirmed it. It's just this mystery button.
The seat warmers are pretty cool in the wintertime. I gotta say that.
Well, and the opposite, my car has a seat cooler that it actually blows air condition through your back, which in Raleigh is an amazing
How is it
feature.
you don't have that, Jason?
Well, a friend of mine on Facebook the other day posted, "Why haven't they put those in couches yet? They can put them in seats."
This is true. This is true. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the reason why I did this, because I was reading, I get a lot of these silly ideas when I read, and I'm reading this stuff on gratitude. And, it talks about, writing down 5 things that you're grateful for and reading it every day, and it sets the tone for your day. And there's so much truth to that. But they went deeper and they talk about, gratitude is just, it's automatic that we go to family, our faith and our health. And these are the simple things. But this person went on to talk about, like, what about your refrigerator? Aren't you grateful that you're able to keep your food fresh? And they went deep, and I'm like, wow, this person's like grateful for everything. So then I started thinking, like, what a great way to start the weekend of just putting the mind on gratitude. As silly as it is, and we had fun with some of these answers, but it's so important to, go on with our day and our weekend with the feeling of gratitude. So I wanted our viewers to kind of dial in on gratitude. I'm grateful for you two guys, and I mean this sincerely. You've helped me out with this show right from the get-go. You were one of my first musical guests on the show, and we never met face to face, but I feel like I know you guys. We're following each other, and you're in Raleigh. One of these days we'll get together for that cold beer and a cigar. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, one thing I wanted to say real quick was I appreciate that. And one really awesome thing about playing music is the people that you meet through playing music. The example I'm going to give is Keaton Simons.
That's right.
Met Keaton in Los Angeles in 2011, and quick friendship was made. And the next year, Keaton recommended me for Pat McGee's Down the Hatch Festival, and Pat never hearing of my music, never seeing me live, just said, "Hey man, you want to play my festival? Any friend of Keaton's is a friend of mine." And Doug and I eventually, and the whole band, went to every year we play this festival in Down the Hatch in the Outer Banks that Pat McGee puts on. It's where we met Gareth Asher and all these other great people. It comes full circle sometimes. Keaton did that for me, and when you asked if I knew anybody for the show, the first three people that came to mind were people from Down the Hatch, and then all these other people like Matt O'Ree or Matt Santry. These are people we met along the way on tour. It's awesome. Just this is what it's all about. It's just this community of music and people, the people that you meet and the stories that you can tell after these years of playing music is awesome. So.
Absolutely. And you said it perfectly. All of those artists you mentioned have been on Wake Up to the Vibe, and I owe thanks to both of you, really. It's been a lot of fun. We've got some great plans going forward, but I got to tell you something, and this is kind of sidetracked from that though. This show has brought me not only gratitude, but it's really weird. I started taking this chloroxygen stuff, which was recommended by a guest I had on the show, Amy Guyette Hall. I was talking about how I was feeling, and I was feeling hungover every day without drinking. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. And I'm talking months of feeling this way. I started thinking, do I have Lyme's disease? What is wrong with me? And I started taking this chloroxygen. They're little drops that you put in water, and it's just chlorophyll from a plant, right? It changed my life in a week. I mean, changed my life.
Wow.
Well, then I had this other issue that I was struggling with, and one of my listeners sent me a message and said, "Hey, you might want to consider this stuff called monolaurin." Never heard of this stuff. It's in breast milk, monolaurin. Okay, there's a medical term for what it is, but it's like an extract to take out of coconuts, right? Again, changed my life. Like that particular issue that I was having has been cured. I mean, gone.
Wow.
So, and both of those, one came from a guest, one came from a listener. You know what I mean?
Really cool.
When you look at that deeper level of gratitude of things come from things, people come from people and stuff. We're all so blessed and so lucky to have this opportunity. You see people, what's going on in the world today. And I think sometimes people get so lost that they forget about the greatness of America, the greatness of this country. Right. We're so lucky. We're still ahead of other countries on how lucky we are. Even with this crap that's going on, we're still super lucky, people. At least I think so.
I saw one of those, on Facebook, you see thousands of memes every day, but one that's going around right now is stuff that you're grateful for, or to be grateful for is, roof over your head, clean water, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I just read that one this morning, actually. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, the basic things in life, we have it very, very good over some other people in the world. So got to be grateful.
Sure do.
That.
Hey, you guys, you guys are great, man. Just real quick, Jason, tell us how we can get your music. It's at the Jason Adamo Band. The new CD is Looking Glass.
T-shirts.
That's what it looks like.
This is the new record, folks. Check it out at jasonadamo.com. Pick up a T-shirt or a tank top. While you're there, I have women's tank tops. I'm a salesman right now.
That's right.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're really proud of this record.
Thank God we don't have boxers for sale.
Why that would be your job.
You'd be modeling those right now.
I got Doug Casteen thongs on pre-order. No, we're really proud of all the records we put out, but this one, like Doug says, is a love letter to my family. It's really, really deep and meaningful for me, especially with the loss of my mom. And I'm not sure if we talked about this on the last show, but the eyes on the album cover that George Hodge beautifully designed. The eyes are based on my mom's eyes, who passed away in July of last year. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when he came up with the artwork, the short story is my family and I started seeing a bunch of butterflies when my mom passed away, and he didn't know that. And he sent me like 6 different album cover ideas, one of which was something very similar to this. And I said, man, I love that. And I told him the story about seeing all these butterflies after she passed. I said, is there any way you can reshape the eyes to look like my mom's? And he said, just send me a couple of photographs of her. So anybody who gets an album, like a physical copy of the album or a T-shirt, it's like my mom's eyes are going all over the country. My buddy just posted a picture of him wearing a shirt in California. It's awesome.
That is such a great tribute to your mom too, man. Kudos to you. That's awesome. Awesome stuff. Hey guys, you're waking up to the vibe. Thank you so much for joining me on the show. I know you'll be back because you're regulars. We got you up nice and early. Doug's got his coffee. He's going to get another cup. I know he is. Have yourself a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Be grateful. Let your light shine and pay it forward. Thanks for joining us today.